This podcast contains strong language and adult themes from the outset. Angie.
Good morning, my Patty.
How are you this morning?
As you can tell, I am alive, kicking, and up with the birds.
You absolutely are. You're really going for it this morning, sweets.
I'm kind of, when you're like a bit tired, a bit delirious.
Oh, you're a bit delirious.
Kind of, yes,
okay, locking everyone. This is going to be an interesting episode.
That is how I am feeling this morning. You just feel like a bit stupid.
It?
I feel a bit stupid.
Do you?
Yeah.
This bodes well. This bodes well. This bodes well.
Yeah.
This bodes well.
I mean, it could bode well. It could absolutely crash and burn.
Well, look, Ange,
so let's hope
for
it's
the
boding
sake of
well.
both of us. Let's hope it goes with boding.
Let's go with boding.
How was your bank holiday weekend?
It were all right, actually. I mean, not a huge amount going down. We obviously went to our cousin's 40th.
We did.
Saturday note.
We did
that.
Yeah. Shout out to Zoe.
Shout out to Zoe ... Then yesterday, no, hang on.
Sunday.
Yes, Monday.
Ooh, Monday yesterday, yeah. She's getting all of her
Sunday
days confused.
Sunday didn't do a huge amount. Monday, no. Ian is now in Ottawa.
Yeah, in Canada.
So yesterday was spent taking him to the airport and all that shit.
Jazz, yeah.
And I was going to put this on my gram. I thought, no, I'm not. I'm actually not. Don't do it, Angie.
No.
Talk about it on here.
Fine.
Although you'll probably go, well, that's shit.
Oh.
But anyway, I'm going to do it anyway.
Okay, go for it. You've really teed that up there.
Yeah. I have decided to do Couch to 5K again.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I did my week one run yesterday.
My God.
And
God.
I actually really liked it. So, I mean, it's one of those things because your first few runs are really quite easy. So I sort of get lulled into a false sense of security because I think, fine. I mean, God. I can do this. This is great. No problems. Yeah. Get to week 3 or 4 and I've got to run for 4 minutes solid. And then I'm like, no, shouldn't have done this.
Oh my God.
But I'm like, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to try and do it in the 9 weeks it tells you to do it. So what I'm saying is, crew, gang, FTFs, not Patty because she won't do it. If you want to be part of the Couch 5K with me, let's do this shit.
Yeah, I've just gone and unfollowed you from Instagram.
Yeah,
so.
That's fine. I unfollowed you ages ago, so it's fine. So I did that yesterday. Took Luna for a walk, took her home, and then I went and did my first run, which I felt good about.
Well, I saw something funny, which I think you also saw as well, which was people saying that they'd give anything to watch an episode of Gavin and Stacey, which was just Mick, Pam, Dawn and Pete in the queue. Yeah, yes. I mean, that would be hilarious, wouldn't it? That would be...
I think there could be a lot of shit you could do around queues.
Oh, around the queue, for sure.
Yeah, but you think of the people that queue to go... I mean, this is one thing that's always baffled me. Right?
Yeah.
People who go to Madame Tussauds.
Right.
Why?
I mean, there is often a big queue for that.
That's what I mean. I see all those people
I know,
queuing.
But the queue was the epitome of all queues.
I know. It was like,
it?
It was the queue of all queues.
It was just unreal.
Yeah.
You had to have a wristband
to queue.
There was a queue for the queue in the end.
Yeah.
You had to join a queue to wait to join the actual queue. Can you imagine though if you were almost at the front and then they went, right, that's it, we can't let anyone else, the Queen's got to be moved now, you can't let, you were one of those people that nearly got there.
They actually interviewed the last people that went through.
No.
Yeah, because they were the last, or literally the last 2 or 3 people that went through and saw the Queen They were the end of the
Wow.
queue.
They were the end. I mean,
Yeah.
it made it onto the 6 o'clock news on Friday night that the queue could be seen from space. What I want to know is, at what point do you see, is it like one more person join? Now you can see it from space. If that person walks off to go to the loo,
it's gone.
We've lost the queue from space now. Like, I loved the fact that it was like, you can't hold places in the queue. You can't push the queue.
I mean, there were rules. You've got to have, when you're queuing, you've got to have rules, especially a queue of that scale.
I mean, it was like, but did somebody join and somebody in space went, we can now see the queue from space, keep it at that size or else it's going to disappear again?
I don't know.
Somebody up in space goes, oh shit, John, we've lost the queue. Oh God, you're joking. Yeah, the queue, we've lost it. Oh no, it's back. It's back. Somebody else has joined. It's back. And did you watch the funeral?
Well, because I had to take Ian to the airport and all that shit, I ended up having to watch it later. But I did watch it, and I did watch the. I watched all the bit where she went to Windsor.
I know, wasn't that amazing?
It was actually very. Do you know what I kept thinking as well yesterday? How absolutely exhausted they must be.
Oh my! And the military. Those lads, you know those lads. Do you know how much her coffin weighs? Because it's had to, there's lots and lots of things saying it had to be lead lined because that's like a royal thing. But also to preserve it so she didn't smell.
Yeah.
So that coffin weighs 22 stone. That procession up Westminster Abbey is so long. Those lads, those Royal Marines lads, Coldstream Guards, I think they were. They've been the same people that have carried her coffin every time. It's been the same young lads that have done it. That coffin weighs 22 stone. Wow. They must have been knackered.
I mean, it was absolutely amazing to watch, actually, and just the whole.
The pomp and pageantry, Anne. Just the pomp and pageantry.
That is, it's your P&P. It's your postage and packaging.
It's your P&P that really sets it alight. I also just thought Charles looked really sad.
And Edward. Did you see Edward?
Yeah,
I know. I thought that was like, and I think that was the thing that I think I wasn't expecting that. You know, you kind of think because it's on such a scale, because it's all televised, because there is so much pomp and pageantry, as you say, Pats.
Yeah.
You kind of think, I sort of felt like, would that mean that you lost that sort of human emotional side? But I don't think it did get lost at all.
Do you know Prince Philip hasn't been buried yet? He was waiting in the vault.
Yeah.
Because they made a pact with each other. Yeah. So they went and buried them both at 7:30 yesterday evening together. I mean, that just must have been the most, and no cameras, no public.
I'm so pleased as a family they got to do that.
Yeah.
There was something very private, very personal. After everything else that had gone on all day, but very
well. I'm pleased you got to watch it back.
Yeah, watched it back. Yeah, watched all the stuff at Windsor, and then just had quite a chill day yesterday. It was quite nice actually. Yeah. What about you, Paz? What were you up to?
Just chill. Just watched it. Wanted to watch it all. Watched it all. Just it was it was quite an odd day, I felt, but it was so interesting. To watch it. So Anyway, let's go into. We've got some. We put
up a little box, Pats, didn't we?
We did, didn't we? And we got some questions, didn't we?
We thought we'd open up podcast for.
We'd open up podcast.
We're opening up. We're opening up the bowels.
Yeah.
The bowels of the podcast. We're opening up to allow the listeners to send us questions.
Yeah.
And we actually had quite a few good ones.
We did.
Pat, didn't
we've got a lot. We've got some we can use on other episodes. Yeah.
So one of the questions we had came in from Madeline.
Yes.
And she says, if you were a meal, what would you be?
I think I'd be a spaghetti bolognese.
Right. Why? Why are you
hearty, like deep, rich, loved, like a classic. It's like a classic, isn't it?
It's a cuddle on a plate.
And also it's like most families one night will have a spag. What should we? I will have spag bowl.
Yeah.
It's like, they can be, you could have two spag bowls that were incredibly different. I feel like I'm quite versatile. I can change it up. I can be whatever the room needs me to be,
Right. Okay.
But like, if it's a good one, full bodied, deep, big, messy. messy, which is like, that is really good for me.
That actually does. That is a very good description of you.
Yeah. Messy, gets everywhere, actually can be a bit annoying. Because it's like, oh God, it's all over my face. Oh, I haven't got the right utensils. This is really starting to piss me off a bit.
How do you eat a spag bowl?
I'm a fork and a spoon.
A spoon? Like,
so you get it on your fork and then you twist. Yeah, twizzle it.
Do you twizzle?
I twizzle. Yeah.
I would have said you were a cut it all up, mix it together bird.
Oh God, no.
Really?
No.
What, you actually do a proper full-on twizzle?
Yeah, I don't want my spaghetti. I don't want my spaghetti cut up. I'm not 4.
See, I find the twizzle gets on my nerves a bit.
And this is what I mean. I can get on your nerves.
That's you.
How do you eat it? Like, people will be like, what do I do with it? Do I twizzle it? Do I just let it all fall over my chin?
Yeah. Do I slurp? Do I do a...
Yeah.
You know, one of the... I thought you'd have been a slurper as well.
Oh, sometimes. You know, I do a little...
Yeah. A little suck up of the spaghetti. Yeah.
You know, it's just hearty, isn't it? Full-bodied, rounded.
Hearty, full-bodied, rounded, messy.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah, I think I'm with you on that, actually.
Thank you.
I agree.
I'm a spag bowl.
I thought that I would be like a hot curry, you know, sort of.
I see that.
A bit of a spice. You know, I can be a bit spicy, can be a bit shitty at times, you know. The curry can give you the shits.
You're telling me.
So, you know, I think a bit
and
spicy.
Sometimes you can enjoy being with you, like you're enjoying the curry, and then walk away and think, actually, she's really annoyed me. And then you get the shits.
And then you get shits, yeah. Get the old ring sting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I give you ring sting like 12 hours later.
Yes.
But yeah, I thought, you know, sort of something quite hot, quite spicy, a lot of flavour.
Yeah.
If I was being specific, I'd be sort of like, I'd say like a chicken madras. You know, that sort of just verging on, oh, this is actually quite uncomfortable. But actually,
wow, you think you're uncomfortable?
Well, no, not me. Like, I don't think I'm uncomfortable, but I think...
So why have you put yourself as a chicken madras that is a bit uncomfortable?
Well, not maybe uncomfortable is the wrong word. A bit sort of like, oh, can I take this? Can I cope with this?
You think that's you?
But I think then as you warm into the curry, you go, yeah, I can take this.
Right.
She is bringing me the spices. I'm getting...
Basically, what you're saying is you're not for everyone.
Yeah.
Whereas I think a spag bol is loved by most people.
And that is where you are very wrong.
No, I think that is true of me.
Well, you think you're loved by everyone?
No, by most people, I said, but you can get halfway through the dish and be like, oh God, this is so messy, it's starting to annoy me now.
See, I think I'm more likely to think I'm probably not loved by anyone or loved by everyone.
Right.
And you see, that is the thing, isn't it? You are very good at blowing your own trumpet.
No.
Yes, you are, Pat.
No.
You're just doing it now. You're blowing it now.
No, what I'm saying is, did you listen to the second bit? It was like you get halfway through and you're annoyed by it. People are then like, oh God, this is pissing me off. I thought I loved a spag bowl, but actually, fucking hell, this is annoying. It's getting everywhere. It's messy. I put too much cheese on. I didn't put enough oregano in, and it's not got the depth I wanted.
Origami. You didn't do enough origami.
You get to that stage with me. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Anyway, I'd be a spag bowl, you'd be a curry.
I'd be a hot curry. I'd be a hot one. It's a hot one.
Angie.
Patty.
Let me tell you about Skin and Me.
Well, I mean... You know I'm not the best when it comes to my own skin. So I think I don't have any right to talk about this.
Well, let me tell you about it because it might be something that you are interested in.
Okay, fine.
Skin and Me offer powerful active ingredients that you can't buy over the counter.
Oh, wow.
They also offer moisturizers and cleansers that are tailored completely to your skin type for your complete routine. Honestly, this is the most accessible, fast-track, simplified skincare you'll ever find. And their treatments specifically for your skin concern, tailored to you, that actually works. Do you know the other amazing thing? The tube that you get even has your name on it.
Right. So then there's actually no mistaking that it's mine. I've got to use it.
Yeah.
I can't sort of go, well, actually, that's not mine, that's
No,
Patty's.
that's
It's got
right.
my name on it.
It's yours.
Okay.
They are sustainable, vegan, and cruelty-free.
So how do they get it to be completely yours?
So they personalise it. You do the online consultation. You then send them they have to be completely filter-free, but you send them some pictures.
Right.
And their team of dermatologists will tailor a personalised solution to evolve with your skin. They target things like acne, pigmentation, aging, and loads of other things. It's all posted monthly through your door in a sustainable, recyclable package.
Okay.
Less waste, visible results, happy skin.
I mean, the fact that I am aging is one of the things that I think could well be for me. But, as far as I'm concerned, I think this is the kind of thing that would suit me down to the ground, because
honestly,
I can't be doing with all hundreds of millions of potions.
No, and that's the thing. And because it's dermatologists, they look closely at your skin, obviously through these pictures. They look at the quiz you've done or the consultation that you've done online. They tailor those two things together. Yeah. Now, here's the best bit. You can get your first month for just £3.50 if you use the code FUNNY.
Oh, okay.
So it's normally $24.99 a month.
Wow, that is a saving.
And you can get your first month if you use the code FUNNY.
Okay. And what about if you're like, your skin changes, which it does? Like, how does that? Do they just kind of just do you a new batch?
So I think they continually work alongside you, and it sort of they move with your skin type and things like that. But what a great saving!
Oh, I mean, if I'm going to do any kind of skincare, that's the skincare for me. When it costs me £3.50.
Lots and lots of people have said how good it is.
Yeah,
it really works. It's so simple. You can clear your shelves of everything else. They put everything you need in this one tube. And I tell you what, the tube's quite cool. It gives you the exact dose that you need. So you turn it and it clicks, and you know that that's the amount of product that you need.
Right. This is the Skin and Me for me.
So get yourself to Skin and Me. Pop in the code FUNNY and you'll get your first month for just £3.50, and then it would be $24.99 after that. Angie, what are you waiting for? Get to Skin and Me straight away.
I'm on it.
Okay, well, we had another question in from T-Bird Arthur on the gram.
I love that. I love the fact that
that's the handle.
T-Bird Arthur.
What's your favourite childhood memory and one thing that you've taken into adulthood from your childhood?
Okay, well, my favourite childhood memory were Christmas Eves.
Oh, that is a good one. You've done a belter there.
The memories I have of us at Christmas
playing
Eve,
Alex Kidd on the
Sega Mega Drive at like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Christmas Eve, like super excited.
All in the same room.
Oh yeah, just dicking around, having that. I really have and I've got a shit memory, as you know.
Yeah.
But that is something that I can really, really clearly see in my head.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love the fact that, and probably if I'm gonna give you another one just for the sake of it.
Go on.
Holidays.
So mine was going to be holidays.
Yeah. Just those kind of,
it didn't matter where we were, whether we were in Bournemouth or we'd go to the south of France quite a bit, or we went to Spain a couple of times.
Yeah. It was just those times where we were completely together with nothing else going on, no school, no college, no other shit happening. They are my absolute best memories.
Yeah. So I actually had two as well.
Yes.
Mine would either be when we went to see Starlight Express. It was the first show we ever saw as a family. And I actually distinctly remember James coming out and losing his shit. He was so happy.
Yeah.
And we were sat at the front of the upper circle. I mean, I think looking back now, I think the tickets are really expensive. And I don't know if you've seen Starlight Express, but it comes round.
It's amazing.
They actually come round through the audience.
Yeah.
And they literally passed us. And I remember James being like...
Yeah.
And then from there, he was just like, oh my God, I love musical theatre. So I distinctly remember us going up to London and going to see Starlight Express. Absolutely amazing.
The other thing that's just come to me actually was when we used to go and watch Dad. Do you remember, what was it they used to do in London?
The tattoo. Yeah.
Oh, I used to
remember... Edinburgh tattoo.
Yeah, but it wasn't in Edinburgh, was it?
No, but it was
Oh,
called...
was it still the tattoo?
Yeah, it was the tattoo, yeah.
Well, I totally remember that as well, us three going up with him and just, like,
Yeah.
watching all that
At
stuff.
the Albert Hall.
Yeah, loved that.
The other one for me, when Dad came back from the Gulf War.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
I remember us all getting in the car and we were so excited. And Mum was like, when we get there, the coach will come in and Dad will come. And just like, I remember distinctly the day he went as well, and how awful that
Oh my
was. Like,
gosh,
that wouldn't be
yeah.
a happy memory. I actually
No.
remember the day he told us he was going. It was your
So do I.
birthday. Oh my
Yeah.
God, that was awful.
Yeah.
But the day
Thanks,
I
Dad.
remember,
Thanks, Mal.
thanks, Mal. I remember driving to Uxbridge. Was it Uxbridge?
Yeah.
That they RAF Uxbridge, and I remember us being so excited, and then seeing Dad when he came off the coach. Oh my God, I will never forget. I was still really quite young.
Yeah, you were. Yeah.
But I just remember that whole period, that like 6-9 months he was away, being like so scary. And then when he got, I just remember like Mum looking so happy, all of us just being like, oh my God, you're safe, you're back, can't believe it. So that would be another like favourite childhood memory for me.
Yeah. And what about like what's one thing that you've taken like from childhood into adulthood?
Mine would be how much Mum and Dad taught us that there are always people that are like probably worse off than you. And I remember Mum, with the job she did, sort of, you know, making us give away like toys and clothes and saying to us, well, there's lots of children that, you know, not in a like horrible, you know, just remember sort of, you know, way, but just her sort of saying, well, there's lots of children for their birthday who don't get presents or don't get stuff at Christmas, and just being really aware that actually we didn't have like a lavish lifestyle or anything, far from it, but just actually Mum and Dad raising us to just look for the people that might need a bit of extra help, and to look over your shoulder a bit more, and to, you know, try and help those in need as much as you can, like all the stuff they did through the Salvation Army. And just that memory that actually we're really fortunate, and they'd sort of help us to think about how we could help those that weren't quite as fortunate as us, I guess. The generosity of our parents would probably be the thing that I've taken into adulthood.
Yeah. Mine was more of a practical thing.
Okay, yeah.
And it was like always sitting at the table to have tea, have dinner.
Oh yeah, nice.
Like that's something that I think as I've had my own children, and I hear stories of their friends and their families that actually a lot of families don't do that anymore.
They don't.
And it is something that I always remember was, and it particularly on Sundays, just because of the fact that, you know, our kind of life then being part of the Salvation Army, and kind of it was always quite a busy family day, but we would always have dinner together on a Sunday. And then sort of, you know, during the week, maybe not so much, but we would all sort of just sit at the table. There's none of this sitting in the lounge eating your tea or whatever.
Well, that was a real treat, wasn't it? Sometimes on a Friday night, we would be allowed to take our dinner into the front room.
Exactly. Whereas, and I think that is one of the things that I really, at the time, I don't think I really realised the importance of it until I've, you know, had my own family. And that thing of like, once, you know, every evening, you know, we will always sit at the table and have our dinner together. And it's just such an important part of my day and our day as a family. But also I think the fact that it's only now that this T-Bird Arthur has asked the question that I then really kind of gave it some thought. I thought, oh my gosh, I remember that being such an important part of our upbringing, that we would sit at the table, we would have our dinner. And that's something I really have carried into adulthood, and then kind of made that an important part of our family life. And it is something that just doesn't happen very often now in households.
Agreed.
Which I find really sad. I find that really sad that doesn't happen so much for people.
Yeah.
So that is my thing.
Good one, Angie. Good one.
So we then had a question in from Molly on Gram. Molly asks, what's the worst trend you guys have ever followed growing up?
I mean, I think I look back at pictures of me and my fashion was just horrendous.
Why? What
like, it was so shit. I had that Kickers jumper, which I shouldn't have worn. And I basically fucking lived in it. And I shouldn't have worn it.
Do you remember when you had like almost like curtains?
Oh my God,
Yeah.
what was that about? I used to like slick my hair back as well in a really tight ponytail. I know that was the trend at the time, and then you'd have like 2 strands
Come down, yeah.
and they were like the thinnest strands ever, pointless, but you had to do it. I also think I went through just like I know leggings were really in, but like I went through like a C&A phase.
What about the leggings?
Awful.
What about the leggings that you used to like have a little elastic bit that went under your feet?
Ski pants? Ski pants. I was obsessed with those. Like I went through a real C&A phase, and it was awful. It was absolutely awful for me. And I know C&A was the in shop in the like late 80s, early 90s.
That was the thing. Yeah,
it was hideous. That was a trend I never should have got on. I also went through a big trend of wearing like a lot of like sports shirts.
Yeah, you were very sporty spice.
Yeah, I mean I wasn't. It was a real juxtaposition between my size and my fashion.
Oh wow, juxtaposition.
But
wow.
I think yeah, that like curtains phase.
Yeah, I remember your curtains, and I remember that jumper.
What was I think that kickers jumper?
I mean, you were almost quite boyish.
Yeah, I was.
In your
really
fashion, weren't you?
Oh my God, I was really like tomboyish.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, big time.
In your sportswear with your curtains.
With the sportswear.
In your sportswear, never having done a day of sport in your life.
Little Patty walking around in her sportswear and her curtains. Yeah, I was very tomboyish.
Yeah, you were.
Like, wasn't into makeup for like that'll really shock people probably.
Yeah,
but didn't get into my makeup till I was like in my late 20s.
That's the
all
thing.
through
it's
my
weird,
teenage,
isn't it?
Yeah, all through my teenage years, very tomboyish, very like sports. Yeah,
driven.
Sports driven. Well, sports fashion driven, not sure about. I was basically the cough avo mum.
Yeah,
I was constantly in my active wear, not doing
actually
activities.
doing anything active.
Yeah, I was ahead of the curve.
Yeah, you were actually. Yeah, now we look back, we're like, wow, you were already
nailed
there.
That. Yeah. Anyway, that would be mine. I've got yours, Ange. That 80s perm you had was a big mistake.
I definitely loved that perm.
Yeah, I know, but looking back now, you look like Poborski. the classic Manchester United football player Poborski. If you don't know who he is, go and look him up. That is what Ange's 80s perm was like. And I know it was a trend at the time.
It was all
but it's
rage.
A trend you shouldn't have done.
Yeah. Also, I think I do recall having a shell suit.
Yeah. Yeah, you never should have got on that.
So, the perm and the shell suit together, I could very much have just been a Scouser.
Definitely.
Calm down, all that malarkey.
Yeah. This one's very quick. Yeah. What was your favourite swear word? What is your favourite swear word? That's from Lucy on the gram.
I did actually give this quite a bit of thought.
Right.
And I've gone for like wank or wanker.
Right, you don't use that very often.
Well, do you know what it is, right? I think it's the kind of swear word that can be actually very abusive when you want it to be.
Wow, abusive. Right? I don't think we should be saying abusive. I think you mean quite harsh.
Abusive. If I'm like annoyed with you, I'll say, Pat, you're being a right wanker.
Right.
It's
that's
quite
sort of
it's quite sort of derogatory. It's quite sort of,
Right.
Whereas you can also sort of mess around, he's being a bit of a wanker. You can sort of you can make it harsh or you can make it soft.
Okay, fair enough. Wow.
That sort of,
it goes hard and then it goes soft, I suppose. Really.
That was my sort of thinking is that, just being a bit of a wanker, that sort of, that sort of vibe. Because I originally sort of thought, obviously fuck and fucking, that's a good swear word. That's a good sort of, but I don't know whether I really use that very much. Anyway.
So mine would be bollocks.
Bollocks.
Bollocks, real oh my God, that is bollocks. That's he's speaking complete bollocks there. That would probably be mine.
Do you know what I thought as well when I was thinking about this?
What?
I was thinking about there are certain words now you just don't really hear very much. For instance, slag.
Well, I think we've realised that actually we shouldn't go around calling people slags. I think we sort of realised that that's a bit. It's often women that are called that, and it's not a particularly nice term. So I'm quite pleased that has.
No, I know, but like it was a word that was around a lot.
Yeah, and thank God it's not anymore.
But then I think it can be quite a fun word. Oh, you slag. That sort of
right.
I think it can be quite fun. I think you could bring back some words like slut.
Ange,
slag.
No, absolutely not. As two women on this podcast, no, I am putting my foot down.
I'd quite happily call a man a slag now.
No.
Stop being a slag, Terry. Right?
Slug. Slut and slag are gone from my. I just like. I mean,
I think you could bring it back.
I think that is different, but I'm
that's
not.
What I mean. I think
calling people a slag.
I just think
that is. I can't believe you said that.
Why?
That is awful.
No, because I think it's like. It's like you say about, and I can't actually say this word. I can't say it. The see you next Tuesday word. Right. But you use that and it's okay, but you can't say slag and slut.
Yeah, because that's not saying, slag and slut have been used to describe women for a number of years who people are saying because she likes sex, she must be a slag.
No, but I think we can change the way that that's used now. You can still say, I'd call a man a slag or a slut.
Okay, here we go then. Here we go. I'm going to do a poll this week on the Instagram. I'm going to do a poll. I'm going to ask people, do you think slut and slag should come back? There's loads of ways you can get in touch with us. You can find Ange and I both on Instagram. I'm at Ruth Corden. She's at Ange Corden.
And you can find the podcast on Facebook, Instagram and TikTok. Just search Finding the Funny Podcast. You slags.
Urban Dictionary. Angie, what's your urban this week?
Right, now, I had quite a few that I picked up here, right? And I was like, I'm really struggling to know which one to go for.
Okay.
But I've landed on one.
You've landed. How very corporate of you, Angie. I've picked the low-hanging fruit, gone for a quick win. I've landed on
basically.
Basically, I thought you said it was obvious.
Well, you kind of know what that word means.
Yeah, it's like, well, basically, I went to the shop, and basically, what happened is when people do that.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, this is what it says.
Basically, this is what it says. You just did it. Absolutely sensational. You just did it. Basically, this is what it says.
This is the blurb that made me laugh. Right?
Okay. Oh, God, it's made her laugh again. I know that you're going to read this blurb and it's not actually going to be that funny. I can feel it. I'm going to be like, oh, is that it? You should have gone for the other one, you dickhead. Basically, you should have gone for the other one.
Right, here we go. I'll try and compose myself.
Okay.
This is the word you use when you want to explain something but don't actually have any depth of knowledge. Just say, basically, a whole bunch, and everyone will still think you're super smart. And thank you for shielding them from potentially complex concepts. You. Sure, I can explain nuclear fission. I can't even say that word. Fission. You basically have like neutrons and electrons, and whenever they basically go buck wild on each other and that make heat. Your idiot friends, you are a gentleman and a scholar.
Now, basically, could also go in shitting tits, couldn't it? Because when people do it, it is annoying.
See, I actually think you do that a lot.
You do it a lot? You just did it!
No, I don't mean using the word basically. I think you know a lot about stuff.
Oh, Ange, we've done this before on Big Hat No Cattle. Do you not remember that episode that was called Big Hat No Cattle? That was the Urban Dictionary. And I was like, I think I'm Big Hat No Cattle. And you were like, you absolutely are.
You basically are.
Yeah, But when people use the word basically, it can get annoying, can't it?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Basically, I went to the shop, right? And basically what happened was I walked in and basically there was a guy stood there and I thought, oh God, I've got to get out of here. And you're like, why did I need to have 8 basicallys in that sentence?
I also think it's a bit of a like stalling word, isn't it? If you can't really think of what you're going to say.
Yeah.
You know, basically, right, I said this to Trevor the other day. I said, look, basically, Trev, what you've got to think about is, are you going to be able to get from A to B in that car, or are you going to have a breakdown and then basically you're in a lot of shit?
Yeah.
You know, that's sort of like you're stalling. What can I say about this? Because I don't
Do you
really
know
the
other
about
one?
it.
The other one is obviously, when people say obviously, and you're like, well, it's not obvious because you're having to tell me about it. I mean, obviously, I went in and said, did you? What's that obvious? Obviously, I called the waiter over and said, oh, right, is that obvious? Right, okay. That's another one, isn't it?
That is, yeah. You're obviously your basicallys.
Yeah. And literally.
Literally.
Also, the other one, which our dad gets really pissed off with, which we all do a lot because we're from that generation, is like.
Yeah.
And when Dad does an impression, he's like, literally, like, I went in there and basically, like, I said to her, like, obviously, like, and it really pisses him off.
It does. Yeah,
it's like when we went on holiday to Bristol a couple of years ago and we made Dad watch Love Island. Oh my God. He would sit there going, oh, like, I'm on a journey, like, every night without fail.
Do you know that Mal is currently big into Married at
First Sight?
Yes.
He absolutely loves it.
I'm like, what? How can you be well into that? And then you're like basically bitching off Love Island. Basically.
He'd sit there in the living room, we'd be watching it and he'd go, oh, God, who are these lot? I just like, I'm on a journey. Obviously,
it's bilge.
Mind-numbing bilge. One of James's ex-girlfriends, though, Dad came in once. We were all watching TV. I'll never forget this. Dad came in and he was like, oh, God, what's this? A load of absolute drivel. And then he went, welcome to Numptyland. And James's girlfriend at the time just went, yes, Mal, population, you.
Numpty.
Welcome to Numptyland. Dad had also always come in as well when we were watching EastEnders, and he'd just go, "What's going on?
Yeah.
What's going on? Is he dead yet? Has he had a car crash? Has he died? He dies. She dies. What's going on?" And then he'd turn around and walk out.
Yeah,
that'd be it.
That'd be it. Yeah.
Yeah, very funny urban that though, Ange. Well done.
Basically, yeah.
Basically.
So, one of the questions we had in, we thought, oh, hello. This is a good dilemma question.
It is.
So, we are going to keep the person anonymous. But the question we had in was, if you're very good friends with someone you work with and you think it could be more, should you go for it?
Now, I am often always a fan of going for it.
It's a tricky one.
But I think if you work with them, it's really, really hard. Because I think if you like, as much as friendships can be difficult if you tell somebody you like them and they don't like you back, you can have a bit of distance for a time. Like you know, if you go to a friend and say, I think I'm like, my feelings for you are changing. I think I'm actually starting to really fancy you, or I really could see us together, and they go, I just don't feel the same. You can say, okay, look, can we just have a bit of space then? I still want to be your friend. I still want to be in your life. But that extra layer for me needs to change a little bit now. Like I need to have a bit of time. If you're at work, I would say for me, it depends how closely you work with this person.
If it's someone that you kind of just see around the office or wherever it is you're working, and you kind of, you know, you do have a bit of banter in the kitchen or whatever it might be,
or at the photocopier, he's photocopying his penis,
bum or something,
all that shit,
but actually you don't work particularly close together, then yes, I think you should definitely go for it, because I think there's enough distance there that you, if it doesn't quite work out, you can kind of avoid each other if you need to. If it's someone that you actually work very closely with and it doesn't quite work out, then I think it can be quite tricky to manage that when it's in a workplace.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I'm like, just go for it. Like, you know,
I do know what you mean.
You sort of think like, you know, how often do you meet people that you go, oh, actually,
I know.
we've got like
I know,
something that we click. There's something here.
Yeah.
And I sort of think, as long as you're both adult enough to kind of go, do you know what? Let's go out on a date. Let's just go for a date somewhere and see what happens. And I think sometimes that will give you quite a clear indicator fairly quickly. Like when you're out of a workplace environment, when you're going on a date, when it's a very different setup you've got around you.
Yeah.
I think you could probably quite quickly tell if it is something that's there or it's not. And I'm just a bit like...
Yeah, I think for me it would be how, if you're in the same team and you have to work together a lot on lots of different stuff, I would be seriously thinking about whether it could... You've just got to think about how you would feel. If they say, yes, let's go for a date, that's absolutely fine, winning. I just think you've got to be really... I think you've just got to be really clear in your own head, what would I do if they're not up for it?
Yeah, but
how am I going to... and that's fine. It's fine if they're not up for it, but how am I going to manage that with them every day? And if you can get that sorted, if you can just say, okay... like, that's absolutely no problem, thanks so much, no worries, and you can get yourself over that quite quickly, go for it. But I would say be very geared up for if there's a no, I don't feel the same sort of response.
Also, I think like if you could kind of have that, do you fancy going out for a drink sometime, and it being very, very casual, very, nothing too serious. I think maybe start with that. Like, rather than it being look, I really think there's something here. I really like you. Let's go on a date.
Yeah.
Make it just a bit more, and that might be a good way of sort of just testing the water. Like, is he, she interested in something a bit more here?
Yeah.
I was exactly like you, Pat. So I was a bit like, when it's work, it's a bit tricky.
It's a bit
and is that a good
You've
thing
got to go every day. You probably would see them quite a lot.
Yeah. But at the same time, YOLO. Exactly.
Keep us posted on what you decide to do. Would you please? Please keep us posted.
Did we hear anything more from that?
No, we haven't yet about the friend. We haven't heard it, and I'm reluctant to message because you never know, do you?
No. Yeah.
Anyway, very good dilemma question.
Yeah, really good, and really, really would love to hear.
Yes.
If it does go any further, or what you decide to do.
Yeah,
would be really good. Now, Pat, you are bringing me your tits today.
I have got some shitting tits for you, right? I was thinking about this. I can't remember. I think it was last week or something. I don't know why. I think I looked at a menu somewhere of like a restaurant I'd like to try or something.
Right. Okay. Foodie.
Menus in very high echelon places that dick around with the menu, right? That are just you have to Google what it is. So you're sat at the table, you're looking at the menu, right? I'm not going to say the restaurants' names, obviously, but I've looked up some high echelon restaurants. And I'm going to give you some of the descriptions, okay?
Okay, and I've got to see if I can work out what it
without
actually
Googling.
Is. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Malt roasted pork tenderloin and cheek, fine. With lovage braised celery, cod's roe, pork cracker, and smoked butter sauce. I mean, what the fuck?
What was after the cheek? What was that one?
With lovage braised celery, cod's roe, pork cracker, and smoked butter sauce. What's the butter smoked with? What is there a flavour? Is it just going to come out burnt?
Is cod roe? Isn't that a bit like
exactly, Ange? We don't know, do we? No. So you're sat looking at this, going, "Oh, I'd quite like the roasted pork tenderloin and cheek." Then I haven't got a clue what lovage braised celery is.
Lovage.
Lovage braised celery.
Braised celery. I mean, honestly,
what the hell?
What are you doing braising lovage celery? Lovage
Listen
braising
to
celery.
This one. Fillet of beef, fine. With potato buttermilk waffle, creme fraiche, chive butter, sauce de Bordelaise. Sauce de Bordelaise, they've put. Sauce de Bordelaise. Potato buttermilk waffle. Like, okay, I understand what a waffle is. So is that basically a posh hash brown?
Yeah.
Because
or
if
they actually put it in a waffle maker?
Just say posh hash brown. Listen to this dessert. Chocolate and ale cake with Pedro... I can't even say this word. Pedro Ximenez and Rebellion beer ice cream. Pedro Ximenez. What?
What the hell is Pedro Ximenez?
So Ximenez is spelled Ximenez. Ximenez.
Or is it
Ximenez?
from?
Or is it Ximenez? Because like Xander is start with an X, isn't it?
Ximenez. Yeah.
Ximenez and with Pedro Ximenez.
I mean, it sounds like a footballer.
It sounds like you're having dickish.
It sounds like you're having some sort of dessert that's going to be on top of a footballer called Pedro Ximenez.
I mean,
yeah, it is. Why do they do that?
Why roasted scallops, spelt, smoked sea broth, pickled deluse, and lovage. Lovage.
Sea broth. What are they doing with these broths? I've seen them on MasterChef, and the broth looks like someone spat on your plate. It's all foamy.
Yeah.
They're putting like foam spittle on your plate.
Yeah.
What are you doing that for? What even is it?
But also, like on this menu, there's a dish that's lamb and cucumber, right? Fine, but then they have to put best end of lamb, cucumber heart, sweetbread, peas, and mint. Best end of lamb. What?
Well, at least they're not giving you the worst end.
Braised chicory, parsley, pepper, onion, and eucalyptus. I mean, that sounds disgusting. Braised chicory, parsley, pepper, onion, and eucalyptus. I haven't got a cold, man.
I was going to say, that's what you have in a strepsil, isn't it?
You're just going to get strepsil.
Just chucking a few strepsils.
It's like, just tell me it's a pork tenderloin. It's a bit of like pork and cheek. It's got some celery. It's got some celery with it. It's got a little bit of mashed potatoes.
I mean, what is lovage?
Exactly.
That's come up a few times, lovage.
Yeah, braised lovage.
Lovage. That
really actually does piss me off, because you can go to a really nice pub, you know, and have great food, and the menu is self-explanatory.
Yeah.
If I've got to sit there
and try and figure it out,
Mr. Michelin star, and figure out what it is you're doing, and then do you know the other thing? The portion sizes are shit.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, your lovage and your braised pork cheek and all the rest of the shit
with a bit of broth, with a bit of spit on your plate,
with the chef's spit on it. It'll be the size of a pea.
Oh, and you look at it and you think, that is not going to fill me up.
And actually, I've paid 35 quid for that.
Yep, and I'm going to have to get a Mackey's on the way home. That's really starting to get on my tits.
It is gone a bit. They have gone a bit mental.
It's gone
with that,
too much, hasn't it? And like, I think as people like Heston Blumenthal and Tom, what's his name, Kerridge, people like that, have started to get more accessible restaurants. They've got to be more accessible for people like me who don't have a clue what lovage is.
I don't know what lovage is. Yeah.
It's
and I don't like spit on my plate.
It's like when you go abroad and you have like the Spanish menu and the English menu. Can we have the Michelin menu and then the English menu?
And the basic menu.
Yeah. Can you just have over the page what it really is?
Simple terms.
Basically,
this is what it is.
Turn it over and it'd be like steak, chips and peas.
Yes.
That's what it would be.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
And a bit of tartar sauce.
Yeah. Basically,
yeah.
So that's the thing that has been really getting on my tits.
That is very true, Pats. And
I was looking at those menus last night, thinking, "Oh my god, this is a joke now."
What were they all from one restaurant?
No, they're from a couple of high-end places. Yeah,
high-end,
but say you know your similar vibes. They've all got your similar vibes.
Also, I think Heston. You know,
God, are we going to slag off Heston?
Well, you know, I sometimes think he did sort of. He's really dicked around with food, hasn't he?
Well, have you ever been to I've never been to the Fat Duck.
I've never been.
But it's supposed to be like, it's all, like, you get, like, headphones and
That's
stuff.
What I mean. It's just
like, there's smells that are put into the restaurant. I just think it's too much, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't want a food experience. I want someone to put really decent food in front of me that tastes amazing.
Yeah.
That's a good portion size, that's going to fill me up. And then I want to have a couple of drinks and go on my way.
Exactly.
That's all I'm looking for.
Want.
Yeah.
I want to go out. I want to look at a menu. Say, yeah, that's for me. Love a bit of that.
Yeah. I don't want to be sprayed in the face with a sea broth while I'm eating it.
A sea broth.
Yeah, like you sit down and they bring the plate out and the broth actually comes at you in the face and you're like, oh god, that smells like the sea.
What the hell?
That's somebody's urine. I think I've just got there. Yeah. If they were really going to do the sea broth, though, they could take it to the extreme, couldn't they? And you could have like plastic straws thrown at you and stuff, because now the sea's full of all of our shit.
And also, you could be provided with goggles.
Yeah, and they just chuck a load of plastic at you and then cover you in salty water.
Yeah, we're really trying to give you the vibe of the sea. Put your goggles on, splash you in the face.
Bam.
Yeah. Thanks, Heston.
Yeah. Anyway, look, don't take the reviews from the Fat Duck from us. I'm sure it's a wonderful place to go and eat.
Yeah.
Go and check it out. I'm sure it's lovely.
If you might have to Google a lot of shit. But,
and if you've got a couple of grand sat in your bank account, not really doing anything at the moment, that's the restaurant for you.
Take your own goggles.
But another episode done in the bag.
Yes. Brilliant.
As always, there's loads of places that you can find Ange and I. You can find us both on Instagram. I'm at Ruth Gordon. She's at Ange Gordon.
And you can find the podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Just search Finding the Funny Podcast.
Remember, you can also send us an email, findingthefunnypodcast@gmail.com. Thank you so much, as always, for listening. Ange and I will be back next week, helping you to find more of the funny.